Some might say it's a bad day, others might say it's a bad day. But today, I say, it's demolition day. Make sure to use code RJTRAINS at trains.com for $10 off any order $50 or more. So this is actually going to be a bit more of a casual video. As you can see, I'm not wearing my trademark Acela polo, but I do want to show you guys the entire demolition process of the layout. So first things first, we've got to remove all of the people and all of the vehicles and all of the other loose things that are on top of the layout and store them. So while I set up the time lapse and you guys can watch me pick things up, I'm also going to explain what exactly the future plans are for the next layout. So enjoy.
The one question I got more than anything else in my goodbye layout video was, RJ, are you going to build a bigger layout this time? And well, unfortunately, the layout has to stay on its same current footprint. I do have an idea to make the layout feel a little bigger. And with that, I turn it over to my friend, Cosmo Kramer, to explain my idea.
Levels. Levels. Yeah, I'm getting rid of all my furniture. All of it. And I'm going to build these different levels. You know, with steps. And it'll all be carpeted. A lot of pillows. You know, like ancient Egypt.
And here we are. Welcome to Maples Ferry on my newly named layout, the Long Island and Potomac Railway. And as Kramer explained, my grand idea is to have 2 different levels on this layout. So the green track that you see, as well as the town in the center, will all be elevated, while everything on the outside of the green circle will be at the track height on the old layout. And I did this for a couple of reasons. As I explained in my previous video about why I was demolishing the layout, I didn't like how if I ran my auto racks or my superliners on my outer loop, which was 072, you couldn't see anything on the inside of the layout. So by having these 2 different levels, I can run a tall train and be able to see the layout while I'm running the train. So as I said, this is the fictitious town of Maples Ferry. And it is loosely, and I mean very loosely, based off of Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, and Ashland, Virginia, which were 2 of my favorite places to go and hang out, watch trains, and just have a amazing day hanging out in those 2 locations. So on the far right-hand side of the layout, that is actually going to be one gigantic mountain, similar to the Maryland side of the Harper's Ferry National Park. Then you have the Potomac River, which runs through Harper's Ferry. And then on the elevated portion in the middle of the layout, we're going to have the big town with my trademark trolley loop. We have a park overlooking the river and the mountain. And right now, these aren't final determinations on where buildings are going to go, but it's just a loose idea of what I have in my head. Then up front, we have a small town on the lower portion of the layout, and this is what's going to more closely resemble Ashland, Virginia, where we have these very nice woodland scenics buildings right up in front, as well as the road and track basically cutting right through the middle of town, similar to the real-life Ashland. And then on the right-hand side, we are actually doubling the amount of switches that are on this layout compared to the last layout. And this way, we'll have the Jack Daniel's Brewery. I might change that to a different company. On the left-hand side with 2 switch tracks, my trademark cornfield. I guess just a couple of other things to note. The new layout will be all Atlas O track. The lower loop will be O54, which is good for my superliners, and the upper green loop will be O72 for all of my bigger locomotives.
So as you saw in that montage there, I've got all the vehicles for the most part and all of the people picked up off the layout, and off camera I've even started removing some of the track. Now, two things that I've noticed. The good news is that because the track and the roadways are actually covering a lot of the layout, I'll be able to reuse some of the pieces of pink foam for the new layout in different scenery ideas that I have. The bad news is I remembered I have to climb underneath the layout and unwire all of the buildings, which means I have to pull everything out from underneath the layout, which is not a fun task. So I'm going to leave that to tomorrow, where I'll have more free time to take everything out from underneath the layout, unwire, and put everything back underneath. So I'm gonna pause here for today. All right, in my further procrastination of not wanting to go underneath the layout and unwire everything, what I've done so far is I've ripped up all of the track and all of the ballast that I can reach without climbing on top of the table. But now I'm at a point now where I have to unplug everything underneath the layout. So I'm going to do that off camera. I've got the Mets game on the television down here. And then once I get everything unplugged, I will start up the time lapse again and we'll see where everything goes. The big problem is I don't know where I'm going to put any of these buildings while I build the new layout. So that's fun. So shout out old RJ for actually installing these so they plug in above the table, so I don't have to get underneath for a few of these buildings, which I guess just makes my life a little bit easier. And I have to remember to replicate this when I wire up the new buildings. Quick update, I guess I should have put the time lapse on because I actually was able to get the majority of the buildings up off the layout. Like I said, now I need to find somewhere to put them. The only ones that I have to go underneath the layout for are a couple of the Woodland Scenics buildings. Where are they? They're somewhere in there. The Menards Piggly Wiggly, which is there, and the Chick-fil-A, which is buried underneath all these other buildings. So yeah, let me find somewhere to store these and then we'll update you then. And this is where we're at for the end of the evening. So I've got the first piece of foam ripped up, and this will be tomorrow's task, getting this piece up and thrown away, as well as this far piece, which is going to be more challenging with the lake, which is kind of being hidden by the trash bag. I'm trying to save as much of the pink foam as possible just because of how expensive it is, and it would be useful for sculpting scenery. It would be really nice tomorrow to buy the insulation foam that I would need for the next layout, as well as a piece of plywood, which I'm going to need for the layout. So if I could get that and it on the layout by the end of today, by the end of the day tomorrow, that'd be really nice. But I think as long as I get it on by the weekend, I will be okay with that. So this way I can start putting stuff back on the layout. All right, it is the next day, and as you can see behind me, all of the pink foam is off the layout, and you can see the remnants of multiple different previous layouts on the plywood underneath the table, which is kind of funny. Anyways, got the Mets game on again. They've got a day game today. So now the next plan of attack is I want to lay out the track This way I know how much pink foam I'm going to need to buy. And then today I actually kind of hope to go and get all the pink foam and the piece of plywood I need. And, you know, this way I can kind of start doing some things. Also, idiot RJ put the lake directly on the plywood. And I really don't want to replace this piece of plywood. So, yeah, we'll figure that out when we get around to it.
So eventually I was able to get all of the track down and get a rough idea of where everything would kind of go. Unfortunately, I would soon realize that this track plan wouldn't exactly work the way I want to and would require some changes, but we'll get into that in a bit. But at this point, it was about 3 p.m. on the 4th of July. It was a great day outside, and I just wanted to relax outside. So this is where we ended for the day.
All right, a bit of an update. Sorry I look disgusting. It is a Saturday. And the humidity is like 95% and completely sunny outside right now. So I am sweating and it's hot inside the house. But I finally got around to going to the hardware store, and well, we have a little progress on the train layout. So let's talk about it real quick. So as of right now, these are the first two bases for my new upper level, which is where the city and the mountain and the 072 loop of track is going to be. This isn't going to stay straight like this. This is going to have like a curved edge to match the outside loop. But I still need to buy another piece of plywood because this platform will actually come all the way out to about here. And then, like I said, it'll be curved. So eventually I have to cut this. But getting these boards completely level was quite the challenge because the tables themselves aren't level. So that took a lot of work. And then with the leftover piece of plywood, that is about 4x6. So then with the leftover 2x6 piece of plywood, I made the first little base for the mountain. And as you can see, this is kind of where the river is going to be, similar to the other side. I'm going to try and shape this a little so it's not just two straight lines, but the river is actually going to curve a bit and come out and end up around here. But I think I just need to grab one more 4x8 piece of plywood, and then we should be good. Then I can start laying track and wiring. And one other thing, I put an access hatch underneath that first 4x8, not so I can access the trains, but I figured that will probably be the only way I will be able to wire up the town. So that'll be fun. Probably should have made that hole bigger, but that's a future RJ problem. All right, I am back again, sweaty and disgusting, but we kind of hit a milestone here on the Long Island and Potomac Railway. I have all the wood for the second level installed. So the next thing I'm going to do is just put down all the track to get a loose feel of where all the track's going to go. And then I'm going to use a jigsaw and cut the wood down to the size it should be. In this way, it also looks a little bit more natural, but I'm tired, I am sweaty, and I am disgusting. So only a little bit left. All right, we are done for the day. We've got all the wood cut and set in place. So we'll walk around and give you guys a little tour real quick. So starting off on the right, this is where the big mountain is going to be. And in between here is going to be the river. And like right now, yes, it looks like that there's a huge gap between the top level and the bottom level. But you also have to remember there's going to be 2 inches of pink foam under here. There'll still be an inch of pink foam on top of here, but it'll be a lot less noticeable with all the scenery built up around it. But I need to do that so my superliners and intermodal cars and autoracks can fit on the bottom level. We've got the mock Harper's Ferry tunnel portal just chilling there. Over here, this was kind of the easiest part to do.
And then over here, so the inner loop is going to kind of like go around here, and there will be a tunnel portal. I will probably have to keep shaving this back more once we get the final track placement in place. But we're going to do that tomorrow. So been working on this for about 5-6 hours today. I am tired. It's like 100 degrees and I am exhausted. So, and I still need to clean up my mess for the day. So here is the very messy look of where we're at right now. Tune in tomorrow. Next day, and this will probably be the last day for this first initial update, but today the pink foam is going to go down. So I've just been vacuuming the surface that the pink foam is going to go to. The bottom level will be 2-inch foam, but this way we have a nice base for the river and this kind of valley thing that we're doing here. Yeah, so I'm going to start with the bottom with the 2-inch foam, and then we'll take it from there. But after I do the foam today, there's a wait because I have to wait on some scenery products to do some test fitting before I really get started on layout construction. So let's put down some foam today. So once again, a sweaty and disgusting RJ, but I've been working down here for about an hour and I've run into one problem, and that is I can't do any work on the second level until the bottom level is all done, like track wise, because it's very difficult to get underneath the second level without removing the top, even with the access hatch that I have. And I don't have any road bed, so that's on its way. So basically I'm stuck until I have the road bed. I'm able to put down the road bed, which isn't that big of a deal. I ordered it from Train World, so it should be coming soon, but probably won't have any time during the week. So yeah, I'm stuck here till next weekend. But don't worry, the Superliner fits fine. So I know I said I was waiting for this box from Train World to finally arrive to continue layout work, and well, we're gonna have to wait to see what's in this box and what that layout work is in next video. So I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the layout building process here on the new train layout, and I hope you guys come back for episode 2.